Newton's three laws of physics are also Newton's three laws of manifestation. Working with the flow of life is going to be infinitely easier than working against the flow of life. When you learn to use Newton's laws of physics, Newton's laws of manifestation, you are able to create the life that you want much easier. So today I want to go over some examples of how we use Newton's laws, how we can apply it to our lives. But first, we must understand what Newton's laws are and how do they apply to manifestation. So Newton's first law, the law of inertia, an object at rest will stay at rest. An object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. So that brings us to Newton's second law, is that force is mass and acceleration, the product of mass and acceleration. And lastly, Newton's third law is that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. What we do inside, there is a reaction outside. So let's go back to Newton's first law, the law of inertia. If you have been somebody your entire life, you identify as that person. Maybe you don't have the body that you want for 5 straight years. You have to have an outside force to be able to change the body to get the body that you want. It's very easy for somebody who has been eating healthy to continue eating healthy. This is the law of inertia. Unless acted upon by an outside force. If they start eating a bunch of junk food, well, then it's going to be easy for them to then turn into the person that's eating junk food. They created momentum in the other way. Likewise, if you've been at rest, if you've been eating a lot of junk food, it's going to take energy for you. It's going to be harder. It's going to require more force for you to start eating healthy all of a sudden. So we must realize where we are at. Newton's law of inertia is acceptance, accepting where we are right now. If we've been the person that we want to be, well, we will continue to be the person that we want to be. Newton's second law. This one is a big one. So if we act upon that outside force, force then becomes mass times acceleration. Well, everything that we do on the inside is going to accelerate us to where we want to be. But the mass is a critical piece of this component. Because the more actions that we can take in the physical world, the more that we change our matter around us, the more force we are going to be able to exert. And so our body is one case of this mass. But we can be changing our environment. If we want to change our body, then let's put our body into acceleration. Let's start doing everything that we can. If you've had the same body for 5 years and you want to lose 50 pounds, well, it can be done. So you need to start creating so much force. Start looking at everything that you can apply force to. Well, I can apply more mass. I can change more mass at the gym. I can change more mass and change the amount of food that I eat. The more material things that you can change. Replacing the junk food with fruit. Replacing couch time with walking time. Replacing low effort exercises with high effort exercises. You're creating the more force that you can act upon within your world, and you can change your identity quicker. And lastly, this third law wraps it all up. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. For everything that we do on the inside, something else on the outside is going to change. But likewise, for everything that we can change on the outside, it's also going to help aid us on the inside. If we want to see a more beautiful world, if we want people to see us in all our glory and all our beautiful, in all of our love, then we need to be giving as much love and beauty and glory to everyone and everything else in our world. And likewise, there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction. Money appreciates when we appreciate money. People will see us lovingly when we give to others lovingly, when we give our love lovingly onto the world. People will see the beauty in us when we find the beauty in the world. That's just the way it works. That's the way it always happens. It's the law of physics. It's the law of manifestation. It's that third law. So those are the three laws, and they all apply together. If we are at rest, we need to create as much force as we possibly can to get ourselves moving again. Once we're in motion, we don't have to apply as much force. We're naturally going to stay on that course. Once you've mastered a certain skill, you have that skill. Once you learn English, it is hard to forget it unless you act upon an outside force in which you're actively trying to forget it. We tend to not forget the languages that we learn. We tend to not forget how to walk. Unless there is some sort of huge accident, there is some sort of traumatic experience, then we tend to forget. Because a huge outside force, a very intense force, was able to knock us off our course. So everything that we do, everything that we see within us will get reflected externally. It's that third law. We can apply it to anything. When we want to find the perfect relationship, we find that perfect relationship within, and it gets reflected without. It gets reflected in the material. We can use these laws, these Newton's laws of physics, Newton's laws of manifestation, and apply it to anywhere that we want to. First seek the kingdom, and everything else is given onto us. So I hope this video helps you guys out today. It's a little bit of a shorter one, but that's jam-packed with info. You can apply it to anything that you want. Learn the mechanisms of life. If you're already riding the momentum, you're fine. If you're not riding the momentum, find what force equations that you need to apply force to. Find what is going to move the needle, what is going to point you in the direction that you want to be pointed in. And always remember that the more that you give, the more force that you give, the more force the world can give to you. The more energy you output, the more energy that's going to come back to you. The more love that you give out, the more love comes back to you. These are laws that we shouldn't forget. These are laws that we shouldn't neglect. This is one of the secrets to life. So I hope this video helps you guys out today. Find ways to apply it. Comment below if you use this to change your life in any way. I would love to hear about it. There's so many applications, and I'm looking forward to see what changes you guys make in your own lives. Thank you.